Below Deck fans, welcome back. It's episode 7, season 4, Decent Proposal. Tonight's episode has flowers, romance, a proposal, and Emily joins us. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome to the AFTERBUZZ Studios, guys. It's another episode of Below Deck.
Yes.
And there's only 2 of us. It's the M&M show tonight.
Yes.
My name is Michael Rippe. You can catch me on social media at Mike Rips. And I'm joined by the one that always says this.
Ridge. Hi guys, I'm Madison Conklin. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Maddie Says This and on Snapchat at Maddie Conklin.
Any other places to find you?
Right here in the studio on Tuesdays and every other day of the week. Catch me if you can.
I like it. Angela's not here. She's back maybe next week. I think so.
Yeah.
But we have a guest tonight. Emily will join us soon. Let's get into the episode before she does join us, though.
Yes.
Decent Proposal.
And what a proposal it was. I mean, you saw me. I got a little teary-eyed.
You guys are not lucky enough to see Maddie before the show, but
I'm a wreck. But I really put it all together, right? Don't I, on camera?
You're really good at it. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, before we get to the proposal and all that stuff, we got to backtrack to Scrub Island.
We do. That's where we find ourselves as the episode starts, on Scrub Island.
Yes.
And Kate and Ro excessively making out.
Thank you. Aggressively was the perfect word. It just would not stop, and I'm all for love, all for that, but it just was constant, never ending, in your face. Yeah, it was uncomfortable. I got uncomfortable.
So let us know, did you think that it was a little bit excessive or intense? Because it was nice to see, we're cool with it, but it did seem a lot.
Yeah, and then again, hey, they have the distance, so they're trying to make up for lost time. But even if I had a boyfriend and I hadn't seen him for a couple months, I wouldn't.
Single.
Hey, what's up? Yeah, even if I had a boyfriend and we hadn't seen each other for months, I wouldn't be out in everyone's face doing it. It just makes me uncomfortable, and I feel like I'm making other people uncomfortable. So I'm like, hey, let's just hug and have fun with everyone else, and we'll talk later.
Right, and it's definitely interesting because it's Kate, and I don't think that we've seen Kate in that light.
Yeah. That lovey-dovey, kind of
Super
head over heels,
it.
Big hearts in her eyes, Cupid shot her in the back,
Yeah.
And maybe it was because it was that time of year. It was Valentine's Day, February, the month of love.
And we did get a proposal on tonight's episode.
Yeah.
Now,
can we hop back real quick? Can we also discuss how uncomfortable and out of place Ben felt when Kate and Ro were at Scrub Island? He kind of seemed like a dog pacing back and forth, not sure what to do, kind of whimpering, I'm upset, but I don't really know why everything's making me upset,
I think
I felt bad for him.
Yeah, I mean, he probably recognized that he still felt a certain way about Kate, and so he was all things envious, jealous, confused. There's everything
and I
going
think
on.
Confusion was the biggest thing. He was just
perplexed.
What is happening? Where did we go wrong?
It was so in your face that probably made it more uncomfortable, as opposed to just not in your face. It was just right there for everyone to see, and Ben's like,
I know, and I think obviously probably for the cameras, but everyone kept asking him oh, is this weird for you, Kate and Ro? And it's dude, stop asking me. Yeah, it's weird. You can see I'm not comfortable. I thought that was a little annoying.
Right. So also at the same time, I guess at the start of tonight's episode, we see frustration building between Kelly and Captain Lee. Kelly's suggesting that Captain Lee is micromanaging, which it did kind of appear that was the case tonight. And what'd you think? I
totally agree. I have it starred. I mean, he said Captain is trying to micromanage.
If Maddie has it starred, she agrees.
It's an agreement right here, people. No, I just everything. Kelly, you're doing this wrong. Kelly, do this, pull that. It's STFU,
If you guys are watching right now, let us know in the live chat, and if you're watching later on the comments, did Maddie just do a good Captain Lee, or should she not do Captain Lee anymore? Because I like that. I think that was a good Captain Lee.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Oh, thank you. That makes me so warm inside.
We might have to have you do Captain Lee weekly now.
Oh, God, that was just off the cuff, but we'll try it again. But anyways, it was... he says to jump up, and then Captain Lee changed his mind and said, no, I want you to jump down. You were wrong. It's just, he can't make up his mind on if he wants Kelly to be a leader or if Captain Lee wants to be the leader, but then also be like, well,
I think I mentioned this in a past episode, but it almost feels like maybe he has too much time, Captain Lee. So that is forcing him because he's almost bored and he wants some camera time or he just wants something to do. He's interacting more so because of that.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. I agree, but it's also like, you know, can we see a softer side of Lee? Does a softer side of Captain Lee exist? If you're out there, Captain Lee, please let us know, because if so, bring it out and chum it up with your crew like they're helping you just as much as you're helping them.
Let's move to Kyle and Sierra.
Because Kyle and Sierra.
It gets interesting, the conversation that they have while Kyle asks, basically, he's got interest in Sierra.
Yes.
And he talks about one of his past first dates and how that ended up. And how he wrote, you know, he's a romancer.
Take a guess.
He said he got her effing levered up.
Levered, yeah.
I had to ask you what that meant because I wasn't quite sure.
And I, again, was acting like I knew, but I'm pretty sure when the way he said, I got her effing levered, that means like hammered, drunk, like...
But,
you know,
do you guys out there think that means he's a romancer, or is that kind of not romancer?
I mean, depending on what age, like if that's a 22-year-old saying, like that would totally be romantic. I mean, a 22-year-old's eyes.
Basically.
21, 20.
And good for him that he supports his child and he has a child. That's great and all. It seems interesting though that he would create that on the first date, get his first date pregnant.
Well, obviously it wasn't a plan. They probably just went to a bar, had a little too much fun, and hey, guess what? 9 months later, there's Florence.
The part that's interesting is that he just calls himself a romancer. I'm not sure that's the way I look at a romancer.
I think he was being sarcastic.
We're gonna have to ask him when he comes on in a couple weeks.
Yeah, but I also liked the point that it's very admirable of Kyle because he said any money he makes goes straight to Florence because I don't want to have her work a day in her life, you know, that something like that. Yep. And just shows that he does care. He's, he's a grown up. He's, got his ducks in a row. He might not seem like it sometimes, but he does. And he's responsible. And I think he respects females. He's got a little girl. I mean,
he's definitely better than Trevor.
Oh God, I forgot about him.
He does ask Sierra to go on a date involving fishing, and
is that a real date though? Fishing?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course it is. Why is that not a real date to Maddie? Don't ask you to go fishing.
I'm just saying.
That's different, actually.
I don't eat fish. I don't like fish, so that'd probably be
okay. A lot of times when you go fishing, you don't eat the fish. You know that.
No, I know that. Don't you? But if you're in the Caribbean and you catch some great fresh fish, don't you take it somewhere and be like, yo, Ben, cook it up?
Yeah, if you have your personal chef on a personal yacht, yes, of course you do.
Thank you.
So he also informs Sierra about his daughter, which then Sierra is taken aback a little bit.
Her tone totally changed. She goes, oh. And I feel
how would you, I want you to tell me, Maddie, how you would feel. And also, if you're out there watching, how would that make you feel? Let us know in the comments.
If I were interested in a guy and he didn't dropped a bomb saying like, oh, I've got a kid. I think it would definitely make me kind of rethink like how serious do I want to get, it's the first time they're really.
You're our single version of Sierra, so we need to, use our panel.
I'm not crazy and I'm not a Viking woman, tonight. Okay? Let's not compare me to Sierra. I'm just single. But yeah, I think it gives you a lot to think about all at once. You're kind of like, oh my God, this guy's so cute. Like, we're going to have so much fun. Oh my God, he has a kid. Am I going to be the next mom? Like, how's the, ex going to be around me? Like, I feel like girls kind of go into overdrive about certain things, and that kind of maybe would make you go into overdrive. So
that's good.
But I feel like the way Sierra is now handling this whole date situation is very immature.
Yeah, it definitely changes as the episode goes along. So let's move along towards when the new guests arrive, because we actually do in this episode see a good amount of time before the guests arrive. Mm-hmm. And immediately we find out that there's going to be a proposal involved on the first night. Yay. And it's also coinciding with Valentine's Day. So
yes, how perfect.
Before the guests arrive, there's a moment where there's flowers that go to Emily.
Oh, yeah.
So we find out that Emily has never been given flowers.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Which, poor girl, she's so pretty and just so cute.
And so
never received flowers.
Surprisingly, what we haven't seen really, we thought it was between kind of Kelly and Nico.
Yes, the competition.
Ben has come in.
Throw Ben in.
On the outside like a smooth criminal.
He's coming in hot.
He gets flowers, and he does, while everyone's getting ready for the guest intros of the new guests, he's doing his thing and puts
literally running through the yacht, trying to get to Emily's room.
Being late, which I think adds to the awesomeness of it.
Yeah.
He leaves flowers and a card on Emily's bed.
And did you see how the card said Ems, E-M-Z, not Emily, like Ems? That's his cute little name, his little nickname for her.
And then he arrives to greet the guests. He's a little bit late, so it shows you that he was like seriously into it, and you could tell.
And he was nervous too. He was nervous,
like, exactly.
He was talking to Kate about it, and he's like, "Oh, I think the baby's breast should go in, like between the roses." Like he was totally back, like that awkward 7th, 8th grade. Like I have a crush at middle school. Like what do I leave in her locker? Oh, Ben. But yeah, I thought it was, I can't stop smiling, like Emily said. Like, I thought it was the cutest thing ever. And I think they will, if they continue, will make a cute couple. But we don't know.
We don't know. We're got a long way to go before we know.
She was blown away by it.
I want to take a break to tell our listeners and followers about how they get to watch this for free. So, Madison?
Yes, you guys, thank you to all of our viewers that continue to watch us each week and continue to watch all the AfterBuzz TV shows. It's brought to you free. Awesome. And the way we can keep it free is if you guys subscribe and hook up with our sponsors. And this happens to be our sponsor, Beauty Box, which is the Beauty Con Box, I should say. The Beauty Con Box is a subscription that is delivered to your door each season. Each box is curated by your favorite beauty gurus and over $150 worth of products for just $30. So yeah, you're saving $20 if you sign up for the annual payment plan. And then with that annual payment plan, you pay the total cost of the entire year of boxes. So one and done, and then every month you get fun little things. Mike Rips, you kind of won't relate to this at all.
Nope, but that's why I left it.
But there are so many cool things, and this is a great sponsor. This is the Beauty Con Box, you guys. You can pay one lump sum for the annual payment plan, or you can do a seasonal payment plan, and that's where you pay each month. So check it out. It's definitely worth the money. I love getting products every month. It's amazing. So thank you to our sponsors, Beauty Con Box. Make sure to check them out and follow them, subscribe to them, get that plan, and help keep us on the airwaves for free.
And thank you to our beauty expert, Maddie.
You're welcome. It's nothing. All right, so back onto the show.
And the show continues. So as the show continues, the guests arrive, and they're going over the proposal that's going to happen later in the night. And at the same time, they determine it's the day that they're going to... Kelly wants to be proactive now because he's already gotten reamed out by Captain. And
How many times? Yeah.
He says by being proactive, he's going to send all the toys out. We're going to get the slide. We're going to get the boat. We're going to do everything. Yeah. And they're talking about going scuba diving. So
Snorkeling.
Sorry. You're correct. So...
Thank you. I think that's a first. Is there some sort of audio thing we can do for a first? No? Clapping? Yes!
Shout out to Steven.
Steven is on point. Yes.
So Kelly gets the boat, the tender to get the guests, and he's having a big time struggle with getting the tender to allow the guests to get on. And my whole time I'm like, why don't they just swim out to the boat? They're in the Caribbean. They're in their swimsuits. Just swim out to the boat. Sure, but this is below deck. And this is not any other. Yeah,
this is not Mexico on some ratchety catamaran where they're like, okay, swim out to us.
So obviously, Captain is frustrated. He comes down and he assists the situation, which he says looks very poor. They're not operating well. It looks embarrassing. And it did seem like the guests were struggling a little bit with how long it was taking. They asked a few times.
Yeah, they were a little perturbed. Like the main charter guest was kind of out there looking, and he asked, like, is it cool for us to come on now? Which... you could kind of tell they were like, okay, when are we going to go? And then they get it all settled. They get all the guests on except for the main charter guest's soon-to-be fiancé. So they have to turn around, do it all again, which we didn't see any sort of struggle there, but I'm sure for time's sake, they were like, cut this out. We've already seen it once. And so then they go on their merry way. And they all have fun snorkeling, playing with those. What are those underwater toys called where they can like literally like glide through the water?
I don't know, but if you're watching, let us know because I don't know.
I want to know. But yeah, so successful day after the morning.
So one of the things I wanted to touch on was at the same time as Captain noticed that they were having issues and came down to handle the situation, you could sense that it's not just Captain and Kelly anymore, because Lauren talks about how she could sense the pressure that Captain is giving to Kelly, which then Kelly is trickling down to both Lauren and Nico. And so that's where you run into the whole micromanaging, and it's not just, even though it's kind of just Captain and Kelly talking about it, it's starting to affect the rest of the crew.
Affect them, yeah. I mean, I think it goes back to when Captain Lee made Lauren drop the anchors without her knowing, and then that caused a whole hullabaloo of Kelly, you don't have my back, blah blah blah. So I think, I mean, I hate to say it, but Captain Lee's kind of being a shit disturber between his freaking crew.
It's a new one on Below Deck, the after show. We just heard the first time Captain Lee's being a shit disturber.
I know. I mean, I know.
Yeah, that's what I
mean, he, like you said, too much time. Like, he wants Kelly to take charge, but then he's like, well, no, not on my time. Like, this is my boat. This is my yacht, So it's just a very wishy-washy and annoying. Yeah, I said it. Captain Lee, get after me. Come on.
So, afternoon leads to night. And the guests are back.
That's usually what happens during a 24-hour cycle.
The guests are back on the boat, and they have a big night ahead because there's a proposal.
Yes.
And so...
a very pretty proposal.
It's interesting to me how uncomfortable and nervous it seemed that Steve was as he was getting prepared.
I mean, it's like, again, I mean... let me ask you this. When you were in middle school or high school and you kind of did the, I don't know, well... if you were at the movies with a girl you liked and you had to put like your arm around her, did you ever like stare at her, kind of get a read for stare at her more, which then she kind of caught on to? Did you ever do that?
Sure.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Okay. That's exactly what Steve, the main charter guest, was doing. He was literally like looking around at the table like, all right, is everyone okay? Everyone's good to go. Like he was waiting for someone to cue him.
Fair enough. There's a one difference between your story. When I was in middle school and I put my arm around a girl, it's not the same as putting a ring on the girl's finger for life.
The point I'm making is you could tell he was nervous. He was looking around.
Absolutely.
That's what a guy does when he's trying to put his arm around at a movie.
It almost seemed like he was sick.
Yeah.
His facial expressions were like really...
He was very pale. He was very pale.
So he went through with the proposal, and congratulations to Steve. Rachel said yes, and they had a wonderful meal.
But the funny thing, before he could even say, will you marry me, or open the box, she tackles him and says yes for like a minute or two. And she doesn't even see the ring, which I know doesn't mean anything. But we got to see it beforehand because I thought that was uncool. Kate and Sierra were trying it on, which it's so unprofessional. But anyways, they did it. And yeah, so that was a little unprofessional. But we saw it and it was gorgeous. Like massive, just sparkling, and that was so pretty.
What did you guys think about that out there? Did you think that Kate and the crew should have been playing with that ring at all? Because that didn't seem that professional to us.
Why send Sierra? Really cute girl, but of all people, really? And she even drops the box out of the sock and like has to chase it down. I was like, really, Sierra? Why? We're gonna lose it. It's gonna go overboard.
That's kind of the most we get out of the guests after they say yes, they retire for the night.
Yeah, and then
that's most of the guests for tonight's episode. But we move
on to more Lovebirds.
Yeah, and that's inside the actual castmates from this season. So let's talk about Kyle and Sierra for another second or two, because Kyle's being very persistent, and it seems like it's making Sierra a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah. I mean, she already said yes. But
now she wants to add some people to the date, possibly. So where do you stand on that? Because I'm going to say, from a guy's perspective, I'm going to side with Kyle here. He asked her out on a date.
Yeah.
She said yes, and now it's starting to change things. I could understand Kyle being frustrated and upset about it changing.
Yeah. So, I mean, with this kind of date, you really get to interact with someone and get to know them. Me, on the other hand, I invited a friend to a movie I was going to see with a guy. In a movie theater, you can't talk, so I was like, oh, cool, I'll just bring my friend with me.
Yeah, movies are never the best for your first date.
I know, right? Well, that's why we're no longer together. But neither here nor there. But yeah, so I think it was uncool because this is a time, like, they're going fishing, then they're going to go to dinner. Like, that's a really, I don't want to say intimate because that sounds too serious, but that's like a cool, casual, fun date where you get to know someone.
Yeah, you get to
and then
talk
you bring more
and spend
people
time.
as you get more comfortable together.
Of course.
If it leads to that. And
Sure.
and Kyle was getting pissed because he's like, I'm not taking everyone on a date. I'm taking Sierra on a date.
And I respected that out of
Yeah,
Kyle a lot,
I definitely
actually.
did too.
Now, at the same time, Sierra trying to add people to the date, being Kelly and Emily. Let's say.
And
Not only does it affect just them, though, but now you have Nico and Lauren not going and feeling like they're being taken advantage of because they have to stay on the boat and basically are going to do all the extra work, and it's all, everyone is now in a situation.
Exactly. And we know that Emily is not into Kelly. Like, she was telling Sierra that, and then Sierra's like, oh, well, you should go on the date with us. Like, no, girl, she just said how Kelly was wanting to take her fishing and Emily wasn't into it. Like, it just, things are not firing on all cylinders for her, and it just doesn't make sense to me. But yeah, I thought, I mean, not that it was interesting, like, good for Nico and Lauren to be kind of like, what, so we get the shit end of the stick? Like, we have to make sure the entire outside of the boat is okay?
And
like,
I would be right there with Nico and Lauren on that. That doesn't seem fair at all.
Yeah. So, but obviously I don't foresee Emily and Kelly going anywhere near fishing poles or Sierra and Kyle's date.
Now, let us know what you guys think in the comments of all of what we talked about tonight on this episode. Let us know on social media all week. Now, Steven, do we have Emily on the line or no? We don't. Okay.
Dang, we were going to have Emily in today. Hopefully we'll get her before the end of the show. We got 20 or so minutes.
Now,
so
near the end of the episode, Ben is quite bashful.
Yes, according to the Seven Dwarves metaphor Kate makes.
Because he is preparing to ask Emily
to marry him. No, I'm just kidding.
On an official date.
OMG. No, I thought it was awesome how much Kate was helping him.
He is legitimately, like, sprung. Well, he is legitimately nervous, pacing,
got
uncomfortable.
Stomach and knots.
I mean, you could tell that he says that he can't remember the last time he's asked an English rose.
Yeah, he's like,
and he said maybe
I never have. Yeah,
and
so it must be a pretty big deal.
The thing that's interesting to me about Ben, not in this season, but since he's started on Below Deck, it seemed like he's always been, like, very confident, sly, smart, like, knew when to come in.
Sophisticated.
He could almost get any of the girls. And now you're seeing this side of him where it's like, maybe he just really likes Emily. He hasn't gotten any in a while because he's like a totally new dude right now.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just so shook by what he saw with Kate and Ro.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I want to piggyback off that. Do you think Ben's into this whole Emily idea because of what's been happening? Like, there's so much love on the boat and people are connecting in ways that, you know, usually they'd... Or do you think he really is into Emily and he's like, I've got a good chance to date this girl?
Yeah,
you know?
I think that there's definitely a part that he's interested in her in the sense that they get along well. He already said. They can relate by being British or English. And also, I definitely think there's a little bit of Kate was just with Ro.
Yeah.
I've got to do something here to be like, Kate, look at me. So that
but
maybe
Kate's helping him with everything.
She is. She's super mature and it's cool. And I don't think he's doing it to spite her at all. But I think there's probably, as a guy, a little part of Ben saying, like, oh, let me show, like, I can still do this and maybe I can get Kate to be like a little bit jealous. Not even that it's about Kate, but so he's super bashful. He's running around. He's uncomfortable. He actually finally goes up after being super awkward to Emily and he says, I would like to take you for dinner. Would that be okay?
Yeah. Like, hello. I would like to take you for dinner.
It was one of the more awkward moments from Chef Ben.
She goes, oh, what did she say? Like, oh, what sparked this or something? But then she goes, that would be lovely.
She does. She's
like,
totally
I just
in.
love the way they phrase things. It sounds so much better than, yeah, that sounds awesome. Like, oh, that would be lovely.
So...
Sorry for my bad British accent, guys.
Yeah, we're going to keep her to doing Captain Lee, not the Brits. But, no. That was a good end to tonight's episode with Ben and Emily agreeing to go on a date. It had everything involved.
And that's where we can bounce off with so many predictions as to how the date's going to go, how this relationship's going to pan out. Are you ready for predictions or no?
I think we're ready for predictions then.
We're ready for
Maddie's taking us to predictions. We're going to go to predictions.
There it is.
Now, your AfterBuzz TV
And the show is yours, Maddie. Let's go.
Yeah, well, since I made that awesome segue into this,
it was good.
Mike Rips, what are your predictions?
Sorry, ladies first.
No, please.
My prediction is that I'll be back here next week. Angela will be back here. You'll be back here. We'll do it all again. And guess what? We're going to have Chef Ben next week. And because Emily was supposed to be with us, and I don't know what happened, but we're going to get her next week. I hope
Both
we'll bring,
Ben and Emily?
Hopefully we'll have Emily and Ben next week for you. We'll see what we can do. But
well, if I predict my predictions come true, people, well, this might be interesting next week.
Let's go.
I predict that they're going to kiss on the first date. Ben and Emily are going to kiss on the first date. Nothing crazy, nothing hot and steamy, nothing R-rated. It's going to be like a cute,
is it
romantic
a G,
kiss.
a PG, or a PG-13 kiss?
I'm going to go GPG, but
GPG.
mainly GP.
Got it.
GP, PG.
Got it.
G. And then I think with Sierra and Kyle's date, not going to go at all how it was supposed to go. And I think we might see a little bit of that crazy Sierra that they've been talking about. I hope.
I think there might be a Kelly swoop in on Sierra. I don't know how.
No way. That's an awful
fine.
prediction.
Good. That's why I didn't make any. I was just kidding. I just want to see your reaction.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Madison, tell the people where they can find you.
Guys, you can find me on where? Twitter. Thank you.
Instagram,
Yes.
Snapchat.
Shh, I got this.
Okay.
Guys, hey, it's Maddie Conklin. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Maddie Says This, and then on Snapchat at Maddie Conklin. Mike Rips will say that my Snapchats are pretty interesting.
You should follow her because I follow her and it's entertaining just as much as you see her in studio
Happens about every
Tuesday.
weekend. Yes.
You can find me on social media, on Twitter and Instagram at Mike Rips, MikeRips, and we will see you guys all next week right back here in the Below Deck After Show.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.